Hey coin hunters, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and buckle up because today's episode of Coins Numismatic Series digs deep into a true icon of American coinage, a bicentennial heavyweight that's easy to find in your pocket change but packed with stories, varieties, and a few hidden surprises that can make a collector's heart race. We're going to break down everything you need to know about the 1776 to 1976 D. Eisenhower $1 in good condition, the history that gave it life, the sculptors who shaped it, how to read its design and mint mark, what made the 1976 issue special, which errors and varieties to watch for, how many were struck, what collectors are paying today, and why this humble circulation dollar still matters to modern collectors. Stay with me. By the end of this video, 1776 to 1976 D. Eisenhower $1 coin. Let's start with the story that put this coin into circulation. The 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar, often called the Bicentennial Eisenhower, was struck to commemorate the 200th anniversary of American independence. Instead of issuing a 1976 dated coin, the U.S. Mint used a double date, 1776 to 1976, on all circulation and many collector strikes. These bicentennial dollars were produced at multiple mints, including Denver, marked with the D mint mark, and they were struck in both copper-nickel clad for general circulation and a 40% silver-clad composition for special collector sets. The decision to commemorate the bicentennial with circulating coinage was part of a wider program that included special designs for the quarter, half dollar, and dollar, and Eisenhower was chosen for the dollar because he was the only president of the 20th century to be a five-star general and a leader during a period that connected with the values of that bicentennial moment. Now let's look at the design, what you're actually holding in your hand. The obverse features a strong left-profile bust of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, designed by Frank Gasparo, with the word Liberty arcing across the top, the motto "In God We Trust" to the lower left, and the double date 1776 to 1976 centered beneath the bust. The Denver mint mark, D, sits on the obverse beneath Eisenhower's neck. On the reverse, the design departs from the usual presidential motif. It reproduces the Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon, an evocative image combining liberty with America's recent achievements in space exploration. That reverse was also a Gasparo design and intentionally referenced the Apollo 11 landings to tie the nation's revolutionary origins to its modern achievements. The Liberty Bell image includes realistic details of the bell's crack and clapper, while the moon provides a textured backdrop. The inscriptions United States of America and $1 circle the rim, with E pluribus unum tucked beside the bell, all classic elements that make the bicentennial reverse instantly recognizable. Technical specs are straightforward but important for identification. The circulation, clad, bicentennial Eisenhower dollar has a mass of about 22.68 grams, a diameter of 38.1 millimeters, thickness around 2.58 millimeters, and a reeded edge. The clad composition is a copper core with outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel, for an overall appearance and wear behavior similar to other modern U.S. clad coinage. The collector's silver-clad coins are different. They were struck with outer layers consisting of 80% silver and 20% copper bonded to an inner core alloy for a total silver content of 40% by weight. These special pieces were intended for proof and uncirculated collector sets and have a slightly heavier feel. If you're handling a circulation 1976 D that's light and shows the typical grayish-whitish field of cupronickel, you likely have the common clad issue. Mintage numbers tell part of the story about how common, or uncommon, a particular issue is. The Denver Mint struck a very large number of bicentennial-like dollars. For 1976 D. Eisenhower dollars, two general reverse types were produced, often called Type 1 and Type 2, and the combined mintage for the 1976 D circulation strikes runs in the tens of millions. The Type 1 and Type 2 combined mintage for Denver alone is on the order of tens of millions. The two types were produced in large quantities, with Type 2 believed to be more common. The main point here is, Denver's output was large, which is why circulated 1976 D. Eisenhower dollars are commonly encountered today. Those massive mintages are also why most circulated examples, even the ones graded good, see modest premiums over face value unless there's an error or exceptional eye appeal. Because you asked about a coin in good condition, let's define that grading level quickly and what it means for value. On the Sheldon scale, good, G4, describes a coin with heavy wear where the major design outlines are still visible but most finer details are worn flat. For the Eisenhower dollar, a good example will have Eisenhower's portrait flattened with the high point smoothed, the hair and facial lines heavily rubbed, and the reverse Liberty Bell and Moon mostly flattened though the general outline remains. Even in good, the double date, mint mark, and basic lettering are legible. Those details are what keep the coin identifiable and collectible as a bicentennial issue. Because so many bicentennial-likes circulated, good great examples are plentiful and typically trade at small premiums above face value, think a couple dollars in average markets rather than hundreds. Pricing guides and dealer price lists generally show modest values for circulated 1976 D Eisenhower dollars. In good condition they are commonly worth around $1 to a few dollars, while higher grades and silver-clad collector pieces fetch more significant sums. Always check a current price guide or recent auction results for the most up-to-date figures in your region. Collectors love to dig into varieties and errors, and the 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollars have some intriguing items to watch for. For 1976 D circulation strikes, the most widely discussed distinctions are the Type 1 and Type 2 reverse varieties. Type 1 has heavier, broader lettering in United States of America and thicker stars, while Type 2 shows thinner, finer lettering and lighter star details. These aren't rare, they're collectible varieties that help specialists organize sets and registry entries. But if you enjoy building a complete bicentennial collection, knowing the difference matters. Beyond the types, several error coins exist: clipped planchets, off-center strikes, double dies, rarely in circulation strikes, but check the lettering and the date for doubling, and some strikingly attractive die rust or lamination errors that can cause local areas of unusual appearance. There are also modern oddities, like coins that were later colorized, cleaned, or altered. Remember that post-strike modifications usually reduce collector value. For serious value, the highest demand errors tend to be dramatic minting mistakes that are authenticated by a grading service. Let's talk about market value with a bit more precision, the question I know you want answered. For a typical 1776, 1976 D Eisenhower dollar in good, G4 condition, standard price guides and auction histories place its retail or street value in the low single dollars, commonly around $1 to $3 depending on the guide, dealer, and the coin's eye appeal. That modest range reflects the enormous numbers struck and the coin's status as common circulating pieces. If the coin is the silver-clad collector variant, the 40% silver, collector, version struck for special sets, the value climbs significantly depending on grade because it contains intrinsic silver and is sought by set collectors. Those silver-clad coins in circulated condition will often be priced several times higher than the clad versions. For particularly attractive circulated coins with pleasing toning or scarce errors, specialized auctions occasionally push prices higher, but those are the exceptions. If you're selling, expect modest returns unless you have an unusual variety or a coin with minimal wear that grades VF or better. For the most authoritative current valuations, PCGS and NGC price guides and recent eBay/auction archive realized prices are excellent resources to corroborate a price point. Why do collectors still care about the 1976 D Eisenhower dollar? There are several reasons. First, it's a modern coin that tells a deeper story. It's a bridge between the early American Republic, 1776, and the space age, moon imagery. That juxtaposition is symbolic and collectible. Second, the Ike dollar has strong popular appeal because it's one of the last large dollar coins before the Susan B. Anthony series and later the Sacagawea/presidential dollar programs changed size and composition. Third, the variety story, Type 1 versus Type 2 reverses, mint errors, and the presence of 40% silver collector struck pieces, gives both beginners and specialists something to chase without the prohibitive costs of older large cents or Morgan dollars. Fourth, these coins are a natural base for educating new collectors about grading, surface preservation, and the economics of high-mintage modern coinage. In short, the Bicentennial Eisenhower dollar is both accessible and meaningful, which is the sweet spot for many hobbyists. If you're hunting these coins in circulation or at local shows, here's a practical checklist to run through when you pick up a 1976 D Eisenhower dollar in good condition. Confirm the double date 1776 to 1976 is present, that's the bicentennial indicator. Find the D mint mark on the obverse, beneath the bust. Inspect the reverse to determine whether it's type 1 or type 2 by comparing the thickness of the letters in United States of America and the star details. Check for any major errors, off center, clipped planchets, doubling on the date or letters, and determine whether the coin is clad or the silver-clad variety by examining the edge. Silver-clad collector pieces typically have a visible silver layer at the edge and a slightly different sheen. Finally, always look for attractive toning or unusual surface features. These can add collector interest even in otherwise common circulated grades. A few additional collector tips and cautions. If you're buying from online listings, ask for clear photographs of both sides and the edge, and verify the seller's return policy. Don't be dazzled by dramatic colorization or aftermarket enhancements. Those are alterations and usually reduce numismatic value. If you suspect a genuine error or an unusually high-grade example, consider getting a professional opinion or third-party authentication/grading (NGC, PCGS) before making a major purchase. A verified grade can dramatically affect value and saleability. And if you're building a set, decide early whether you want circulation strike-clad coins, the 40% silver collector pieces, or certified high-grade specimens. Each choice leads to a different budget and collecting pathway. Before we wrap up, a quick note on provenance and storytelling. These coins circulated in a uniquely American moment. They were produced during the mid-1970s, a time when the U.S. was commemorating its past while looking forward to technological achievements. Whether you find one in a pocket change roll, a barn drawer, or a dealer's bin, a 1976 D. Eisenhower dollar in good condition is a piece of that era, a tactile reminder of how coins connect everyday life with broader national narratives. For new collectors, they're ideal study material, easy to handle, affordable, and historically resonant. Alright, that's our deep dive on the 1776 to 1976 D. Eisenhower $1 in good condition. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a comment with what coin you want us to examine next, and if you found a bicentennial-like with a strange feature, tell us about it below and I'll give you my take. Remember, check the mint mark, look for type 1 versus type 2 on the reverse, and keep an eye out for those silver-clad collector pieces. Those are the ones that can surprise you at auction. Thanks for watching Coins Numismatic Series. Until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your pockets full of possibilities.